and we'll move to item number 2 on our agenda, which is to hear from Redflex concerning cameras at traffic lights. And this is an informational report and coming from them today.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, and council members and administration. What we're going to talk about right now may be one of the most important public safety issues that I think this city and council can look at today. I'll give you a little bit of history of timeline. A little over a year ago, this council and this administration, or the administration, put in force some ordinances that would have dramatically helped your police department in traffic safety. And your ordinances were put on the books, I believe it was March of last year, for photo enforcement of both red light running and speeding. I believe it's March the 22nd or 3rd is when those were put on the books. After that, there was a request for proposals sent out by the city to select a vendor to provide the services to the city. In, I believe it was July of last year, from a competitive process, I believe there was either 3 or 4 vendors that submitted proposals to the city. Redflex Traffic Systems was selected as the vendor in the competitive process. Since then, we have attempted to make contact to see what we need to do to get help you and get the program moving. We would just again like to report today that we're simply trying to do that to help you enforce the ordinances that you have on your books for over a year now. I haven't presented in front of you a survey or video surveys that we did for the city of Alexandria last year. And that video survey is done on a very professional basis to determine the degree of problems that you're having with red light running in the city. If you would look at that I have in front of you right there that says video surveys, I think it's the first or second item that you have in front of you there. By the way, as you're looking at that, I'm happy to report that when we were selected as your vendor almost a year ago now, Redflex Traffic Systems partnered with about 140 to 150 cities across the United States. I'm happy to report today that we partner with about 204 cities, and we are now part of the largest photo enforcement program in the country, soon to be the largest in the world, and that's Chicago. In addition to that, some other cities like Austin and Corpus Christi. I'd like to call your attention to this video survey, and the way this is done is that we came into Alexandria, we put a video camera in location on these intersections for 12 hours. The results of that was sent back, the hard video was sent back to our company in Scottsdale to interpret the results. It's done both on the software and real people looking at the numbers. So I'll point out that Broadway and I-49, that intersection with the eastbound approach, in a 12-hour period of time, saw 72 straight-through red light violations in a 12-hour period. Now, I want you to understand that under the state penalty for red light running, if any portion of your vehicle is in the intersection when the light turns red, that is a state criminal penalty, a moving violation. Under your ordinance, the violation only occurs if you enter the intersection after the light turns red. So those 72 violations in a 12-hour period meant that automobiles entered the intersection after the light turned red, those 72 vehicles. You'll notice that Jackson and Dorchester, both the eastbound and westbound, got 38 and 52. Halsey and MacArthur, 33 on the southbound. Jackson and MacArthur, 25. Jackson and Wimbledon, 34. Lee and MacArthur, northbound, southbound, 19 and 23. Lee and MacArthur, on the right turn on red violation, there were actually 17 there for a total of 45 when you look at left turn straight through and right turn on red. If you'll look at Coliseum and MacArthur, there was 118 red light violations in 12 hours. in Elliott and MacArthur, 44. Rapides and MacArthur, 24 and 33. That was a total of all of these, including the ones that didn't have a lot of violations. That was a total of 590 violations of entering the intersection after the light turned red in a 12-hour period of time. Obviously, in 24 hours, it probably wouldn't double, but if you extrapolate that over a month's time, you'll see the degree of problem that you've got with red light running there. Recently in Alexandria, I know there's been a lot of information, disinformation, and misinformation regarding the photo enforcement programs. Jefferson Parish, which is a partner of jurisdiction of ours, 6 months ago, we installed 19 camera locations in Jefferson Parish. The first 2 months, there were 41,000 violations. 41,000 violations. Since then, in 6 months, we have already reduced that by about 50%. Today, there's less than 10,000 per month, which is still a lot. But when you reduce violations by 10,000 per month, that translates into a lot of property being saved, a lot of lives, perhaps injuries and deaths being changed. The whole purpose of this program is changing driving behavior. I don't know if any of you have ever had one of your constituents call you and say, hey, there's a lot of speeding in my neighborhood. There's red light running. The solution to a lot of this problem is with photo enforcement. There's a lot of demands on your police department today, not the least of which is $4 gasoline. And I know you're having trouble finding money to put gas in these vehicles. This is a way that we can provide a force multiplier for you and for your police department, improve public safety, and we're ready to move. Like I said, we were awarded as your vendor last year, and since then we have installed programs in Jefferson Parish, in Lafayette, in Baker. Gretna will soon be online here very soon, and a lot of other jurisdictions around the state. But I have with me, and we'll have him speak if you, especially questions of legal issues. I have Judge David Williams from New Orleans, a retired judge who has looked at the legal environment here. Of course, most other cities around the state have looked at it and are moving forward with this because it is on a very safe and sound legal footing. And the cities that are using it today have dramatically improved public safety because of this device. I have a lot of statistics I could go into with you here, not the least of which is the Federal Highway Administration. In one of their reports, you'll hear some of people who in the blogosphere today will say certain things over and over again, and all of a sudden it seems like it's the gospel. But the Federal Highway Administration, in one of their reports, says there are a number of studies that indicate reduction in crashes at signalized intersections due to red light cameras is promoting red light cameras as one of the identified priority market-ready safety technologies today. You'll hear some people saying that it's going to increase rear-end accidents. I have study after study here that is professional studies in Iowa and North Carolina that has not shown that. The largest increase that we have shown in any, or that has come through in any of these studies, was maybe a 4% increase in one North Carolina study, and at the same time there was a 60% reduction in right angle crashes. So gentlemen, we're here, we're ready to start our program and help you improve public safety in Alexandria. And I just wanted to find out what questions you might have of us, and you may want to ask some questions of some legal nature, and I'll have Judge Williams address that as well. But what questions would you have of us?
Any questions?
I guess my issue has always been, I am totally not interested in this as a way to make money. You didn't suggest that.
No, sir.
I've heard it before from some other elected officials in another municipality. Mm-hmm. Purely, I want to be statistically driven on this decision. And I think it'll be based on, does it save lives, quite frankly? Does it avoid accidents? And I think the administration's in the process of actually already looking into whether it does just that. And I'm anxiously waiting for a recommendation from them, but I am concerned, quite frankly, and looking at our chief executive officer about these running of the lights. That's atrocious.
Well, it is a fact.
If that information that you provided us today is accurate, I'm quite embarrassed by it, quite frankly.
Actually, we provided that information to y'all, 6 or 7 months ago.
The recent information?
Those.
I didn't know it's not dated, if I recall.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was actually done in August of the final surveys were done in August of last year.
Okay, and that's the ones that you just showed with
Yes,
the
sir.
recent
Yes, sir.
12 hours.
Yes,
running of the
sir.
lights.
Those were done in August.
So, without a doubt, I think our police department certainly can do some stuff to deter that. I always think, and of course, it's not cost effective. The best way to deter those kind of activities is to have a reputation that some of our cities have within the parish. That the tolerance is very, very limited with that type of activity. So I think that we certainly can do some things before we even make a decision that probably eliminate some of the running of the red lights. But I'm waiting on the administration to come back. I think they'll come back fairly soon with a decision on this. In case you certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't want this to be driven. Nor do I want to hear anything about what type of money the municipality could make, quite frankly, if it would be a decision of this body, which I don't know whether it will or will be, to decide to do this. I would encourage us to utilize any type of revenue that we would be obtain off this to go to something, whether it's a fund to support law enforcement or whether it's a fund to support the indigent community that we support. I'm waiting on statistics. I'm waiting on the recommendation from the administration.
If I might, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. McGill.
Just for clarification, the red light camera program was something that was initiated before this administration took office. Chief Cootie and I think Laura Sylvester, the assistant city attorney at that time, did some research, and it was Chief Cootie who proposed it to the council some time ago. The RFPs were issued before we took office because when we came into office, those had already been responded to, and 2 were made available to me, and that was the one from redflex and one from American Traffic. We reviewed those, and a recommendation has a formal recommendation has never been made. The ordinance that was passed last March, in March of 2007, was to amend the city code to allow for implementation of a process for traffic citations issued pursuant to red light cameras. It was just a procedural matter. An ordinance has never been passed in final form accepting any of the vendors who proposed RFPs to install red light cameras. Legal has been looking at it. There's been some litigation that has raised some questions, and I'm not sure that they have received all of the information and prepared an opinion or a response to the concerns we had with regards to lawsuits that have been brought against municipalities or other governmental bodies and providers of the services. And that's where we are at this time. We've never made a formal recommendation to council.
Well, one at a time, Mr. Silver, then Mr. Fowler.
I'd like to direct a question, I don't know if it's to you, Judge, or to you, concerning the difference between a citation that's issued by a policeman versus the consequences of one being issued by virtue of a camera violation.
Well, let me just say this as a practical matter. There, from our perspective, and in many other parts of the country, there really isn't a technical legal difference whether you have a policeman standing on the corner who sees someone going through a red light and then issues a citation, or having a red light camera that takes the photo of the license plate after the car has gone through there. Now, there has been some litigation that has been referred to, which we believe has never really been upheld in any jurisdiction challenging, violations of rights of privacy and things like that. There was a proposal to create a class action in Lafayette. The federal judge today has basically said he has refused to certify the class at this time because he wants to see whether or not there's any legal merit to the litigation to begin with. So that's now been referred to a federal magistrate in Lafayette. Usually, with my limited experience of having been a judge for 10 years on the Court of Appeal, when a judge does that, they may indicate from his perspective that there's a serious problem with the suit that was brought against Redflex there. But basically what it is, this is basically for a civil violation. This does not create a criminal violation, which is a very important distinction, where some of the confusion and some of the charges have come in other places. A civil violation means this doesn't go on your record. This doesn't affect your insurance. What it does is basically, this is, as Councilman Loss's point, this is to create a safer environment. I live in New Orleans, and the drivers there, you only have 500 or 600 people going through there. New Orleans, it's just a real challenge, and every day on the street I live in, people just sail through all the intersections. And what I look at, I have a rule for one intersection in New Orleans. It's Carrollton and Toledano, and I tell my kids they can't go through the light when it changes green until they've counted 5 cars that have already gone through the red light. What it does is the real injuries occur when your car is hit from the side. That is when people are killed. We had 3 collisions. I live on St. Charles Avenue in St. Charles and Washington. In an 18-hour period, 3 cars were hit from the side because we have drivers who knocked out our stoplights, and the city had not put up a 4-way stop, and so people were going down. You could see how dangerous a side impact collision is. It's incredibly dangerous. It was a miracle that no one was killed. I also have been involved in Weed and Seed in my area. It's a tremendous program, and what this does is allow you to put your police officers, your law enforcement people, in the community where they need to be, so that you don't have them have to stand on the sidewalk and watch somebody go through a red light. What you want to do is to have your police department to be able to be out there effectively policing, creating a rapport with the community, and doing things that they need to do. One thing that having sat through this committee today, I'm just really impressed. I wish we were like this in New Orleans with the civility, the intelligent questions that are asked, and things like that. I'm basically...
We'll sing you some prior video.
Well, okay, no. But I am saying this because I'm actually a native of Alexandria. I was born here a mere 60 years ago in the Tejada Clinic. And so I just want to say that you all have done well, and we're here to answer any questions. I know that some people have concerns about privacy and things like that, and those are legitimate issues to raise, but we've never been treated with anything other than courtesy by the administration and by the council, and we think that this would be a tremendous asset to the city. There's no financial risk involved. There's only thing is an upside where you can come and make your city a safer place so that you can divert your resources where they need to be. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Still didn't answer my question.
It's a civil matter. There's really no difference between having a police officer stand on the corner and see somebody speed by, because you're going to have, once you get this photo, the person who goes through there has a right to contest it. If that person was not driving the car, it's no different than I've gotten 1 or 2 parking tickets in New Orleans. Well, it's my car, and so it goes to the car.
Maybe I haven't made my point.
Yes.
Is there a difference between a ticket given by a policeman as far as the consequences about civil versus...
Oh, yes, they are, yes, because, yes, okay, the red light one is a less serious consequence. It's really a safety issue. In other words, if you get a state policeman or a city policeman gives you a ticket, that's for a violation. That's going to have that's going to probably be a violation of a technical criminal statute of some sort of ordinance. So that's a more serious thing in one sense. But what we're trying to do here is to try and get people to modify their behavior in the most cost-effective way that we can. And the main thing is to save lives. It's not. I'm not looking to create a new class of traffic criminals or anything like that. What I'm trying to do is to keep people from being injured or people from being killed, so that you can also take the limited resources that any governmental agency has and put them where you really need to have them. In New Orleans, we have a critical shortage in our police department right now. We have the National Guard, because the Western State has been terrific in supporting our efforts, but they're going to be leaving at the end of the summer. So we're really going to be stretched thin. So I'm really cognizant of the fact that there's always going to be a strain on your police department. And what we're trying to do in Gretna, one of the things they came to the realization for, they had a real traffic problem. They have limited resources, and they're trying to deal with an escalation, other crime that has occurred since the storm, and they just don't have the resources to do it, so they have to figure out where do you put your people and have the most effective operation for your department. But again, I want to just stress that we would love to be able to come here. We want to say that this is probably, we've been treated very professionally by everyone we've come in contact with, and we hope that we can work this out, and if not, we're still here to support the endeavors of the city of Alexandria.
I would like to, I think at this time we need to try to wrap it up because we have two other committees, but I would like to thank you both for your presence today, for your information that you're giving this council, this administration, and I would like to refer all information that was received by this council today to the administration so they can further come back to the city council with their recommendation on what direction we should take with this matter. But again, I would like to thank you both for your time and for your energy.
Thank you, sir.
I had some order. I just say I had it turned in there somewhere. Okay, outside of redflex situation, when do you think the administration will be prepared to make a recommendation on this? I've been harping on this red light thing for a long time. I talked with the chief several times about it. It's an ongoing problem that's not getting any better, and whether we decide to use redflex or someone like them or not use anything like that, the enforcement issue is a significant problem in our town. I was telling Mr. Lawson that many mornings when I go to work, I stop at the stoplight in front of his office, and when I stop, two cars sometimes will pass me on the other side going through the red light. And
I wasn't the one giving you the bird.
no, it may have been Marshall Bird giving me the bird. But anyway, what I'd like to know is, one, when we've been dealing with this for a long time, and let's get it behind us. Either let's do it or do something else. And if we're going to do something else, let's ask the chief to come in and let's set forth a program that's going to be enforcement. And going to be active and very vigorous enforcement. We're going to have people in this red light situation, as these gentlemen have said, and we can attest to. A friend of mine's fiance was killed on a corner of Elliott in Texas as a result of an accident there. And I don't know. I don't know what we need to do, but we got a big problem. We need to get it behind us, and we need to get a timeline on recommendation. And if we do this, fine. If we don't do this, let's go to enforcement, and let's go to vigorous enforcement, and let's get a.
One or the other, we need to do enforcement.
So,
Okay, Mr. Marshall.
Chuck, for the first time in a long time, man, me and you on the same page.
I withdraw.
I put it like this.
One of us got to be wrong.
The cameras at the lights is not new technology. It's not new. It's something that's been around for a long time. As I've stated in other medias, it was back in the 70s when Europe had them. And they're still using them today. And so, you know, however we do it, I'd like to see us either move one way or the other. Like Chuck is saying, let's go out and do something. Or
I'll probably be the first one to get a ticket too.
I got one, Chuck.
I do know we need to lower our tolerance.
I know that Houston has some, and I don't know if it's you guys or who, but I know in Beltway 8, I got a ticket at my house with just my license plate showing. But it was, so I just mailed them a check. And I knew I was driving on the Beltway at that time on that date that they said it was, so I mailed them a check. But the thing about it is that I still think, you know, it'll give us some, using more resources in other directions. But
And we would be happy, if y'all want some updated surveys, we'd be happy to come in and even do some updated surveys if you'd like us to. I mean, we don't think it would change beyond that, but we'd be happy to do that.
Let's get a recommendation.
Okay, we'll come back to recommendation for the administration.
I just want to say one other thing. I have sent my niece up here to practice law with Beth Foote, so you all do have one voter that has moved from New Orleans who's come up here. So, but again, thank you. And Mr. Silver, if you have any further questions about legal issues, I'd be happy to answer. Talk to anybody at any time, and Charlie can give you my unlisted cell number that everyone seems to have, and I'd be happy to talk to anyone anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, council and the administration. Thank you so much.
You want to take a 10-minute recess?
That's fine.
Okay, we'll take a 10-minute recess. This meeting is adjourned.